Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Pinky here today, and this is our final scent of this grouping. Yes, the final one of the extracts from Born to Stand Out. So I will say, ooh, I can still smell that Band-Aid note from one of these that I did. I will say that this hasn't been my favorite of the collection of Born to Stand Out. The extracts, for whatever reason, have not really worked out for me, and that's okay. You know, not everything is going to work out for everyone. Ooh, that note is strong, whatever it is. Oof. So it's almost like a musk of some sort, and it's because I left things in that packaging. So, oof. I know. Not my favorite collection thus far, but we'll talk about that at the end, and just understand this is one person's preference on the internet. You know, it's the internet. So there you go. Now this one is Purple Stain. So I have a feeling that this is going to have to deal with wine, but I could be wrong. Okay, and speaking of purple stain, you'll probably see this through the video. It's my own purple stain. I was lifting up like a 60-pound box up 2 flights of stairs by myself, and the box was like this big. I did it. But there was a cost. So there you go. There you go. So these are more expensive, just so you know. They're a lot. It's like $305 for these. I will say, for me, I think that's very expensive. I know it's extract, so that's the reason why, but it's kind of hefty. So this one is Purple Wine Stains, see, spread across the pages of an old leather journal, soaking into the paper with vivid, uneven marks. They tell of nights filled with life's simple pleasures, laughter, quiet moments, and sparks of creativity. The journal, its edge softened by time, holds these memories on every page, capturing the joy and warmth of a life well lived. Okay, this is actually, like, usually everything's overly sexed. This is like, let's think about our lives. Yeah, you know, which, you know, I appreciate. There you go. Not that I care. I mean, I don't care what they do with their descriptions. It's just odd coming from Born to Stand Out. I'm like, where is it? Where's the crazy stuff coming at? So the saffron note, or the saffron note, spoiler, the fragrance note is saffron. I find those very difficult for myself, but you know, we make it work. Cinnamon bark, nutmeg, ginger extract, mandarin, bergamot, orange blossom, caramel, Peru balsam, vanilla, akigala wood, oud, patchouli, cypriol, ambrofix. Ambrofix. I don't know what that is. I just see bro, I pump a fist. And cistus concrete. Concrete. That's really interesting. So there's a lot of things that for Binky is a problem, and that is going to be the saffron. I love cinnamon, but nutmeg can sometimes really, for me, overwhelm a fragrance. It can really put a note onto it that's just kind of like, eh. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. And then balsam in this. So it's almost like a woodsy, spicy scent. So let's do this Purple Stain. Let's do this. I'm excited. It's our final one. Yep, I'm getting grape, actually. That's very weird. I'm getting grape. Not what else they're advertising. Woo. Oof. Okay. Hope that didn't get you. Good. I'm making sure my key didn't get that. So through the bottle, I was definitely getting, it's kind of medicinal. So through the bottle, I was getting almost like a grape flavor, but there is no, I totally hit that peak. Grape, I didn't get any of that grape, and there isn't any in it. So that's very interesting that that is kind of the, mixing these together, it was kind of like this optical illusion. But now that it's being sprayed, I'm definitely getting the spices. I'm getting that cinnamon. I'm getting that nutmeg, and I'm getting kind of a medicinal scent to it. Like almost like an antiseptic. Yeah. A little bit of an antiseptic scent with that spiciness. Ooh, of the cinnamon and the nutmeg. That's interesting. It's not necessarily bad. It's just confusing. There is a lot going on here. Yeah, let's try it on the wrist. It's actually really nice. It's a cinnamon nutmeg. It's kind of this spicy. It's totally screaming fall, but yet here we're in spring. So there you go. It's a blast of autumn. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting those spices. I'm not really getting the saffron, which is good because I feel like it could really overwhelm a scent. At least for me, it's not one of my favorite notes. There's a hint of it, but it's not overwhelming. Really getting those spices, starting to get a woodsiness to it. So it's almost like you're walking through the woods with the spice basket a little bit, which is really interesting. That nutmeg's working really well with that cinnamon, which it does. It's a great combination, especially for baking. And it works here. But I am getting this weird, almost kind of like wine scent to it, but there is no wine in this. So it's almost like a trick with the different notes in there. Yeah, because it's definitely not in there. Huh. That's really kind of cool. This one, I out of all of them, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I was a little bit worried because there's so many notes. But there's like this optical illusion of almost a wine scent, but with the cinnamon and the nutmeg and a little bit of woodsiness. You're definitely getting like walking through those woods, but it's not like Clue Perfumery, which is a damp Morel Map, which is a damp forest that you're walking through. This is like a dry forest. It hasn't rained for several days, and it just smells crisp. But it's not damp. It's that type of thing. We're just like boop, 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 walking in the beginning of summer or the end of summer, and it's still dry out, and you're getting that kind of pine around you, but it's not that dampness, which is kind of cool. I'm definitely getting that. But let's try on the clothing. Okay, on the clothing, it's very similar, but I'm getting more of a cough drop vibe. And not just any cough drop, a little bit like Vicks cough drops, which have some medicine in them. I think it's menthol. I'm pretty sure. I don't usually use them. I've used them a few times. You really shouldn't. This is just me. I'm a vocalist, and so menthol isn't really great. If you're a singer, you got to be careful with that a little bit. But use those natural cough drops. But I'm getting a little bit of that medicinal scent to it, that there's a little bit of that menthol. It's not menthol though, it just smells like a cough drop. Ooh, and something rubbery is coming up, because of course when you're smelling it here on your own chemistry, which is my chemistry, and here and on clothing, it's different, it's changing, but when you move, as we do, I'm getting a rubber note to it. So now it's changing to like a rubber tire. Yeah, it smells like tire with caramel. So there's a tire bouncing around and somebody dumped some caramel topping on it. Let's try here. Yeah, it's the same, but there's something very rubbery and medicinal about it now. Ooh. Yeah. Rubbery and medicinal with caramel on it. And I'm getting that nutmeg still, and I'm still getting that cinnamon. But it's rubbery. Like you're getting these scents, and then all of a sudden it's like, don't forget about me. Boink, 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 tire. It's like, but I want to, because I don't want you here. Yeah, that's weird. And it may be kind of because the balsam is mixing in with these spicings, and again creating that illusion that the same illusion was created with the wine scent. But I'm not getting the wine much anymore. Nope, there I am a little bit. This is interesting. This one's probably the most the most complexity out of this collection, but I feel like in some ways it's a lot. Okay, I really don't have much of an opinion at this time. I do find that Born to Stand Out tends to morph a lot. I'm kind of hoping it morphs so much that this rubber tire disappears, because I'm not liking that note. Could just be the way my nose is built or what I'm picking up, but I'm not loving it. No. But that's okay, because things can change really quickly here with Born to Stand Out. So I'm gonna check back in an hour and see where this goes because I am confused. Okay, so it's been an hour and this one is still going strong. This one is interesting. So I'm definitely getting that wine, but it's not like fresh wine. It's almost like grapes that have been there a long time, or wine that is older. You know, it's a deep red. It's not a light, refreshing white wine. You know, these are deep red grapes. So that's really what I'm getting from it. But at times when I move, I'm still getting a little bit of that rubber smell, and that could just be a me thing. It's not as bad as it was when I first started. It's definitely calmed down, but yeah, once in a while when I move the right way, I still get a little bit of rubber, or tire, which is interesting. But let's try it here on the wrist. Interesting. Here it's not as bad, so I think it's coming from the clothing. It's interesting. I feel like I'm getting a little tiny bit of musk, but that's my body chemistry. But definitely getting that caramel, and I'm getting the nutmeg and cinnamon on my body, which is really nice. So like a vanilla caramel with that nutmeg and that cinnamon, but I'm not necessarily getting the purple or the grape from there. But let's try it here. That's what it is. So it's on my shirt. So what's happening is on my shirt, I'm getting that grape scent, that deep grape scent, but I'm also getting that saffron. And I think that's what's causing a little bit of that tire note, is the saffron is finally coming through. And for me, saffron can be a little bit tricky, especially when it mixes with nutmeg. But the saffron's definitely starting to come through, along with a little bit of that sweetness and that little bit of wine, older wine coming through. So that's what it is. It's that saffron with those spices. Very interesting. Very interesting. Ooh, where are you? This is interesting. So here it's more of a wine. It's more of a wine with almost like leather, which is interesting because there's no leather in it. They say there's concrete, so maybe it to me it's reading as more leather. It's almost like a leather bound book, like they say, with wine spilled on it. And I am getting that definitely here, but these are very deceptive. So for me, I never smell like anything that's on these. This is like the perfect way of smelling a scent, for the scent to be perfect the way that it was created. But I feel like 95% of the time this doesn't match what it is in real life when you actually wear it on your clothing or on your chemistry, at least for me. So that's why I find these deceptive. But it's definitely almost like a leather with wine and that the saffron, and then the nutmeg and cinnamon really just kind of pulling it together. It's actually really nice here. I'm not a huge fan of saffron, except for Dirty Heaven. That's like the perfect way that saffron was just for me, because I'm not a saffron person. I love eating it, but I don't necessarily love wearing it. And Dirty Heaven just nails it in the perfect way. I wear that all the time, except now that we're heading into late spring and summer, I'll probably have to pull back from that. But oh, I love that one. So they do really well with the saffron here. It's just at times when I move the wrong way, sometimes the saffron plays off my nose with that nutmeg to be a little bit of and possibly the concrete of being just a little bit of tire here and there. But I think that's just normal with saffron. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit with this for a little bit longer, and then we'll have our final thoughts. Okay, so it has been 5 hours, and I could definitely still smell these ones, or this one. This tends to be a powerful grouping because they are extracts. Like I said, I don't think they definitely have a good pull to them, but some of the other ones from the main line are just as strong in my opinion. So it just depends if you think this is worth it or not, but we will get to that, because they are more expensive. They're around $300, because they're extracts, which I think is very expensive, but we'll get there. So I can still smell this when I move around. I'm not getting as much of the tire as I was getting before, so that's a relief. I really do think it was the saffron just kind of messing with my senses and mixing with that nutmeg and the cinnamon. But let's try it here on the wrist. It's really nice on the wrist. It's vanilla and like caramel with like a nutty, not a nuttiness to it, but a spiciness, which is that nutmeg and cinnamon coming through. I'm not really getting the grape anymore or that wine at all. Even the saffron has kind of gone to the side. There's a little bit of a muskiness to it, but even for my standards, it's very, very light. I just, I tend to always go musky, and it's my chemistry. But let's try it on the shirt. Okay, on this shirt, it definitely has more of that saffron. It is the saffron creating that scent. I can see that now. So the saffron is definitely showing up more. It's more of a sweet, like caramel vanilla with that spiciness. I'm really not getting any of the grape anymore or the wine. That's really dissipated for me on my clothing and definitely on my chemistry. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of moved away. Ooh, and here it smells like leather and saffron. A big leather note, which I didn't see listed on their notes. So it's like leather and saffron with a little bit of like nutmeg and just a tiny bit of sweetness. So this one is across the, this is everywhere. Very different on my chemistry from my shirt to here. So this is one of those ones that you are going to want to get a sample. Always get a sample of everything. I will say it over and over and over, just because you really should. Your chemistry is going to be different than mine and everyone else on YouTube or wherever you watch these things, because we're all unique, wonderful individuals with different chemistries. It's like your little thumbprint there, so there you go. So it's going to change things, and this one is all over the board. All over. So strange. I am getting a little bit of that wine. I lied, actually. I take it quick. You do get that wine, but it's in the background. Yeah, it's definitely not the main player. That would be the saffron and leather. I don't know where the leather's coming from. I guess some could argue it's the concrete, but concrete smells way different than leather to me. Very interesting, this one. So let's talk about it. Now that we're done with the series. So these are extracts, so they're supposed to be a lot stronger than the regular line. I will say I don't fully agree with that. I have a few from the main line that I bought doing this series, and I find them to be just as powerful as these, but that just may be my chemistry. I do find that these aren't as, they don't have the complexity as the main line for me. I find these to be very, here's a few notes, with the exception of this one that we did today, where it's like, this is what it is, enjoy. But even with all the notes with the one today, I do feel like it still there wasn't necessarily huge complexity to it, and that's okay too. You don't have to have that. I think, especially with niche brands, it tends to be, more notes the wilder, and it's like, no, you don't need that. Sometimes simple is better. I don't know if $300 price point is something I would pay for these, because out of the whole line, I just feel like this series these may have been towards the bottom for me as far as fragrance profiles, and part of it is maybe they just didn't gel with me as well as other scents within the line. So for me, no. But let's talk about this one a little bit. So, because of the deepness, I would say it's a deep fragrance. I would say this would do really well in fall and winter or early spring, but even then it's kind of going a little bit, but it has a deepness to it with those spices, with the saffron, with the wine sort of scent with it. So I think it would do really well in winter and in fall, depending where you live too. If it stays cold in late spring, you can get away with this one. But I think it might be a little bit heavy, too heavy in spring and summer. But you know, give it a try if you like it. Maybe it'll work for you all the time. But I just think those are the seasons it would really shine. As far as masculine, feminine, I mean, all fragrances are unisex, but I do think this one, if we were going to categorize, would be right in the middle. I don't think it leans masculine more or feminine more. I think all these are unisex, but if you want to break down, for me, I think this one's just right in the middle. I really do, and I think anyone can enjoy it anytime. Yes, so as far as a score, I mean, it's not bad at all. It was just that the rubber scent was throwing me off, the tire. And I think that saffron, and understand that every time I give a review, it's based off of what works for me. Saffron is very difficult. That being said, I think I would give this one a 5.5 out of 6, or out of 10. Woo. Because though I liked it at points, it's not one that I would necessarily reach for again and again, and a 5's right in the middle. It's not bad, it's just right there. It's just, it's good, it's there, you know, but it's not one that I would reach for necessarily again. It definitely has some creativity to it. I do think it's a unique scent, but if your body doesn't play well with saffron, you may have a difficult time with it like I did. You know, even though I really enjoy the scent right now, it's this beautiful, sweet, spicy, not like spicy, like hot spicy, but with the nutmeg and cinnamon popping out of this beautiful, almost gourmand scent to it. And it's lovely. It's really lovely, actually, but I don't know, for me, if it's something that I would go, I need this. Especially for $300, I really, no. I just think that's really expensive, and I understand extracts are more powerful, but I also know that, you know, a lot of people are kind of like, I need to save money, you know? Yeah, the economy's not that great, so, you know, I think these might be a hard sell for a lot of people, even with a good economy at that price tag. I think there's always going to be people who will buy things like this, but for the most part, I always think a large portion of people who buy fragrances, even at $300, are gonna go, you know, So that's just me. So yeah, so that is Born to Stand Out. We made it through all the scents. I think I am just missing a couple of them. I'll have to do some research and see which ones, but we're going to be moving on to another series here soon, so that will be going up. Yes, but this was a good time, and this took up most of the year, like 6 months. You know, it was a long series. I like to open the year with a long series and then move on to smaller brands so we can have a little bit of fun. But yes, with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.